Branded just got a new tool in the form of Grapha. If you still need a beautiful playmat, you can go to zerodamagegaming.com and use the code SOLEM for a discount. Link will be in the description. So as you can see, we have the branded tech right here. Like I announced previously, I am playing now a very tiny tier elements engine in here, and that is purely to do the combo where a fusion deployed Cartesia or just a Cartesia in general can activate her effect when you have a tier name in your hand, which will then make a Grand Guignol, dumping a Muddy Mud Dragon, and then the tier name will resolve afterwards, making a Grapha, and now your branded fusion cannot get ashed. So that's basically like a little bit of the theory behind it. It also actually gives you way better follow-up, because you can activate a branded fusion on turn 2 or something like that, or maybe even going second, sending a Sharon, and then generate an extra fusion in these chains, and this way it just becomes way easier to break boards. Now, if you're lucky enough to also open the Perlerino, you can now also remove some of the floodgates that usually branded had issues with. Like skill drain can sometimes be an issue, super ancient organism can sometimes be an issue, and so this way you basically don't care at all. Overall though, the strongest argument is of course to not get ashed on branded fusion through Grapha. So for the rest of the list, we have one Despian Tragedy, of course, just to do with adlib. Now another neat little thing is that if you do open Sharon or Perlerino, you can also send this Tragedy with a Sharon in order to trigger it to then search a Luber. So there's one extra way to start playing. We play triple Maxi because Maxi is broken. We play triple Ash because Ash stops Maxi. We play 2 Fallen of Albaz. Kashtira isn't here yet, so I do not actually want to be bricking on Albaz. 2 Aluber because it's semi-limited, otherwise it would be at 3. 1 Merc because it is able to be a solid hand trap. 1 Spring and Skit. Personally, I really don't like this card because you have to minus to activate it, but because they are gradually starting to limit the amount of branded starters, we're basically forced into it. Now, do note there's no Gold Sarcophagus in this list, but if you do have it, I would run it. This way you can Gold Sarc, Merc away, and get yourselves your Spring and Skit, and that's 1 more starter. Branded really starting to lack starters with only 2 Aluber, 2 opening, and 2 branded fusion. Then we have 2 Sharon. If you open this with Cartesia, like I said, you can basically make yourself an Omni Negate. If you open it with Despian Tragedy, you can search your Aluber that way. It can also be sent off branded fusion to be an even better fuse, but you can also do something cheeky, like activating a Cartesia and just fusing the Sharon together with a Despia monster in your hand in order to make double Masquerade, because the Cartesia will make a Masquerade, and then the Sharon will afterwards make a second Masquerade with the Despia and herself in the graveyard. So that's another neat little trick you can do. Then we have double Cartesia, of course, the star of the show in the branded deck in my opinion right now. 1 Bestial Magnamut. Now, why the hell is it Magnamut? I hate Saronir. I hate Retribution. I even hate Albion, but you kind of need this one thanks to Cartesia and all the little tricks you can do with it. Also, in order to get like your Rinbrum lines, get your Fallen of Albaz in the graveyard. You'll see that in the replay later, actually. But I hate those other ones. All Saronir, Retribution, they're fucking bricks. There are some awkward hands where they are made playable by drawing like combinations of those cards, but any other time you just hate when they're getting stuck in your hand. So I would much rather have a hand trap that actually then gets me into Fallen of Albaz, which going second is some type of engine, you know, and that I also don't feel too awful about activating. If I need to search something with Lubellion, I'm like, cool, I'll get myself a Magnamut, and not, oh, I drew a Saronir, or oh, I drew a Retribution. So this, you know, solid hand trap against tier, of course. I would play more if I could play more. I can't play Saronir anymore. I've drawn Retribution, Saronir hands too often. I'm done. Then we have Albion. Albion, of course, is just an upstart goblin that also fuels our graveyard, getting a Fallen of Albaz in graveyard in order to special summon a Cartesia, or getting a Fallen of Albaz in graveyard in order to activate our Rindbrum. All kinds of things you can do by searching it with Lost, so even at 1, it's like a cool little engine improvement, let's say. Adlib in order to do the old Guardian Chimera lines, which can still be relevant. 1 Lubellion just for the combo line where you tribute Albion in order to make it. You can see that in the gameplay that's coming as well later. 1 Foolish Burial, of course, it can just send Tragedy to get ourselves our Aluber, but in this build, it can also get you the Sharon, of course, which can then make another fusion, and that might be relevant, you know, depending on the game state. Then we have triple fusion deployment, the star of the show. This gets us our Cartesia. 2 triple tactics talents to just start playing into a board, and also if we get ashed, we can just look at our opponent's hand and see what happens. We could also just draw 2 and then potentially start playing together with like the tier cards in Cartesia and so forth. So it kind of depends on the game state. Then we have 2 branded fusion. Oh, this is so sad. I wish it was 3. Like, this deck already had this issue where it plays so many engine cards that aren't really engine, and that makes the deck bricky sometimes. Like, look at these cards. Fallen of Albaz. If that's in your hand, it sucks. Despian Tragedy. If that's in your hand, it sucks. Merc. If that's in your hand, it sucks. Cartesia by itself fucking sucks. Bestial Saronir, which other people play, suck. Adlib suck. Retribution that other people are playing sucks. Lubellion sucks. Fusion Deployment by itself doesn't do anything either. Branded Lost by itself sucks. Branded in Red by itself sucks. All of these cards suck until you put them together. There's a variety of cards that make those cards unsuck, and that is Aluber, Branded Opening, Branded Fusion. Those used to be 3-3-3. In the TCG they are. So now they're at 2, and you still have to run all the sucky cards, but you have less and less cards that make them unsuck. So that's a real issue with the deck. This is also why we're playing like Foolish Burial and should be playing Gold Sark if you have it, to draw more reliably into the unsuck cards. But that just sucks. This is why I play this deck at 60. I know this sounds weird, right? You're like, wait, there's not enough starters and you're gonna play a higher deck count? Yes, because then we can start playing Tier Elements cards, which can mill Saronir and Retribution and Despian Tragedy, and you're actually comboing more often in the 60 branded tier pile than in this. I know people in the comment section will be crying, oh, that's not true, at 40 is more consistent. No, just do the math. I know people want to see 40, so here's 40. If you want to see 60 though, let me know in the comments down below and I'll make a 60 card version. Then we have one Perlerino. Again, this card is amazing. I wish I could play like triple Perlerino to Sharon. In the TCG, actually, in Branded, when Cash is not a thing, I play triple Perlerino and one of each name. And also at 50 or 60 again, because that way Branded basically loses all of its worst lose conditions. Like, you stop caring about Super Ancient Organism and Skill Drain and all of that stuff. Then we have Branded Lost, which of course is an unfair, ridiculous card. Your opponent can no longer respond to anything. Then we have 2 Called by the Grave and 1 Crossout because Maxi is broken. And Ash also can hurt his deck a lot. 2 Branded Opening, again, 2 of the cards that make this deck unsuck. Branded in Red in order to do our Guardian Chimera plays or others. And then triple Evenly Matched. Sprite doesn't like this card unless there's exactly Carrot on board. Tier can usually play around it if the person is really good and they have everything set up with Redoer and or Crime and so forth, but often the deck is still hurt by it, more so by this singular card than other cards. And finally, I think Labyrinth is now going to become a very popular deck, and I think Evenly against Trap Labyrinth is really good, and against Furniture Labyrinth is okay. So for that reason, the triple Evenly. Then for the extra deck, we have 1 Dragos Tapelia. This card comes up even more thanks to Sharon. And we have 1 Sprint. This card is like cute. There's like little plays you can do with Spring and Skid to play around Nibiru and stuff like that. And then we have 2 Albion in order to send with Mirror Jade. 1 Quiritis. This is extra good actually in this deck thanks to the Sharon and Despia things you can do. But it's also important to special summon with Grand Guignol. You could also play the bigger Proskenion if you want that. Then we have double Blazing Masquerade for if you're doing that play with the tier cards and the Despia, like I said, making the double Blazing Masquerade. If that's not something you like doing, of course, there's plenty of other really good cards you can play in a branded extra deck. Then we have double Mirror Jade because Mirror Jade is the GOAT. 1 Dubellion because I only have 1. I would play 2 if I could because I do find it like nice to get it back into the deck. Like if this thing gets impermed at 1, you can sometimes get into like weird situations that I would rather not have. So I would like to have 2, but again, I don't want to craft it. Then we have 1 Grand Guignol. Oh, Royal Finish, daddy. This is of course like a great card added in the last pack, and that together with Cartesia, like Sharon Cartesia, can then send Muddy and make Grapha, and that way fuck Ash, right? Then we have Rindbrum. This card is a great extra interrupt. You will see actually in the replay how I set this up together with Branded Lost and Albion in order to have 1 more interrupt on our opponent's turn. Now, did it matter? You'll have to wait and see. Then we have Guardian Chimera, of course, incredible card with Branded in Red, and then the Grapha and Muddy Mud Dragon package in order to isolate ourselves from Ash. So that's my current branded list. How about we check out some gameplay right now? Okay, looks like we have a clean combo right here. Fusion Deployment. Max C. Can you not? Can you just chill? Yeah, fuck off. Oh, what a fun game of Maxi. So fun. Okay, so we special summon Cartesia. Then we will Foolish a Tragedy. Next Tragedy effect will get us a Luber. Then we will normal summon a Luber. A Luby Booby is going to activate his effects, getting us Branded Fusion. Then we will activate Branded Fusion. We will get our Albion. We will send Lubellion and Albas into Albion. Then our Albion will create a Lubellion out of the Albas and a Luber. Then Lubellion will activate, discarding Cartesia. And then I'll chain... Do I chain into Grand Guignol? Maybe I don't. Yeah, maybe I don't. So we make a Mirror Jade. Then we will activate Lubellion. Then Lubellion will activate, getting us Branded Lost. Now we Cartesia into Grand Guignol. Now we can choose, do we want to like protect ourselves with a Merc? Or do we want to have a stronger board with Rindbrum? I, for one, kind of want to do Rindbrum. Yeah, let's do Rindbrum. So then Grand Guignol 1, Branded Lost 2. Branded Lost is going to get us Albion, and Albion will be able to dump a Fallen of Albas. So we get ourselves an Albion. Then Grand Guignol dumps our Rindbrum. Yep. And then we activate the Albion, which dumps the Albas, turning our Rindbrum live as an interrupt. Oh, we have a Perlerino. That's really sick. We won't need that now, but we will use that as follow-up, actually. So now we activate Cartesia to come back to our hand. Yep, that'll be really sick follow-up. And then we will activate Albion to set Branded in red. Yes. So this board doesn't seem crazy, but it's actually really good. We have a Rindbrum interrupt. We get a Cartesia back to our hand. We have a Tragedy, which turns into an Aluber when we want to do Brand in red to Guardian Chimera pop. We have Grand Guignol turning into something. Wow. They are a Lab deck or a Traptrix deck. Ceasefire. What the fuck? Ceasefire? I don't know what the hell is going on here, but what? Ceasefire? They took the what? Huh? Time Lords. Time Lords. Really? Really? Okay, we are going to use Mirror Jade. We're not playing no games here to get rid of this. Yeah, that's right. Cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Get out of here. End phase. No, 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 no. I want to brand it in red. So first, we'll activate this to get ourselves a branded fusion, and we don't want to set it. Then we want to activate this to come back to our hand. Then we want to activate branded in red. Sadly, getting rid of the Grand Guignol and the Mirror Jade, but that's okay. It's to get rid of all those silly spells and traps. We'll use this, this, and this. The last thing we want is to get like randomly destroyed by some Floodgate. Obviously, we do have a nice out for Floodgates in Perlerino, which is something you really need to respect. Like, Branded loses to a bunch of Floodgates, and the tier stuff can just randomly not make you lose to those Floodgates. So we'll go Guardian Chimera 1, Despian Tragedy 2, Branded Lost 3, and then do we Rindbrum? Nah, we don't have to. We could on Resolution, maybe. Branded Lost gets us Albion. Despian Tragedy gets us a Luber. Oh, we could actually Adlib as well. Maybe Adlib was better. And then Guardian Chimera draws one and pops this and this. Okay, that's Magic Cylinder and Dimension Wall. What the fuck are you doing? What are they doing? What are they cooking? Yeah, okay. There we go. I mean, it doesn't matter. You know, the Perlerino was always outing every single Floodgate, because tier cards are the best cards in the game. So that was all. Hope you found this interesting. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.